start talking about the border, okay? The border. We had the worst border in the history of the world. We had the safest border, the best border. I built over 500 miles of wall. People don't, they say, is it a renovation or not a renovation? It's not a renovation. We had a wall that was falling down, demolished, rusted steel, rotted out 2x4s. We'd rip it out. They'd say, oh, that was a renovation when we go up 30 feet high and 9 feet deep. No, we built over 500 miles of wall. We were going to build another 200 miles, which is far more than I said I was going to do. And Mexico, by the way, speaking about Mexico, Mexico paid for 28,000 soldiers, and they were paying much more money than they would have paid for the war. There was no legal mechanism to do the wall, but it didn't matter because they paid much more money. We had stay in Mexico, not stay. We had stay in Mexico. We kept people in Mexico. Nobody ever did that before, and Mexico behaved, but Mexico had to behave because I was going to tariff them if they didn't, and they were fine. They were actually very good. I like the president a lot. I mean, we get along very well. But Mexico paid a big price to give us the best border that we've ever had in the history of our country. That included drugs. That included terrorists coming in. I saw an interesting stat on a number of the shows. In 2019, they had no terrorists, zero, which I was frankly surprised to hear that. But that was during my term. We had very strong blockages and blocks. So we had nothing. And now we have record numbers of terrorists coming in, record numbers. We had none. I mean, they actually said zero. This is not me, because I would have said it's got to be somebody, but they had nobody. And we had a safe country. We had no attacks. We had no anything. I defeated ISIS. We wiped out ISIS. That was supposed to take 4 years. I did it in a few months. We have a great military when we have the right people, and we have the right people. I know the right people. They're not the television people, not the people that you're reading about, not the person that's now in a hospital running this war from his laptop, which is what I understand he's doing, if he's running it at all. I'm not sure about that, but that was a terrible thing. 5 days we didn't have any idea where our Secretary of Defense was, and we have people wanting to attack our country. So it's a pretty sad situation. We've never been in a position of risk like we are right now, in many ways, but never like we are right now.
Yeah. Well, wow, that is something we hear about everywhere in Iowa is how much Iowans appreciate how you secured the border and what you did to keep us safe. Thank you.
And it's very interesting because if he just would have left it, he could have gone to the beach because he likes going to the beach. Somebody says he looks good in a bathing suit that works for him, obviously. So you'd see him at the beach all the time. He could have done that, just left it alone, leave our people there, leave the great people that we had there. And instead, they decided we're not going to build the wall. And they put out a message to the world, come in, because, when you say that and you say other things, and you have people coming in and going to our schools and taking the places of our students, where they're actually putting our students, the students that were there, in secondary schools, and they're taking the best seats, and they don't even speak English. So they're sitting there, they don't speak English. The whole thing is crazy. You look at what's happened in New York. New York is a disaster right now, and in all fairness, the mayor understands that, and he's saying that. But, some don't speak up, some aren't speaking up. The whole concept of sanctuary cities is I think it's going to fall of its own weight. I think the Democrats aren't going to be able to take it much longer. In some cities, Democrat mayors and governors are saying, we just can't do this anymore. The truth is, it's not sustainable for this country, even from a cost standpoint. Billions and billions of dollars. People are coming in, and they're coming in from prisons. They're coming in from mental institutions, insane asylums. They're terrorists. They're drug dealers. They're pouring into our country totally unchecked. We have no idea who's coming in. They're coming in from many countries, all parts of the world. They're coming from Africa. They're coming from China. They're coming from all parts of Asia. A lot of people coming from Europe. A lot of people coming from Yemen, okay? We're bombing right now. We have people from Yemen. We had 27,000 people coming in over the last few months from China, and they happen to be from the age of about 19 to 25, just fighting age. That's great, Not women, all men, and it's a very, very sad thing happening to our country. Our country is being overtaken. We're being invaded. That's an invasion. We had the strongest border, now we have the weakest border, and it's an invasion of our country. And Biden is grossly incompetent. The only thing they know how to do is cheat on elections. They're very good at cheating on elections, and they're very good at also going after your political opponent. But they can't do anything else. That's all they're good at. And we're going to teach them a lesson.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Well, President Trump, you are so right. Our border's in chaos with 10,000 unvetted illegals coming into our country every single day, and the kids in New York being told to stay home because their schools are being used to house illegals. I mean, how do you secure the border and reverse Biden's disaster?
Well, we'd go right back to what we were doing. Again, we had the safest border in the history of our country, and we're going to close up the walls. You know, we had 200 miles of walls. We had a lot of wall built. It's laying there ready to be lifted up. They could have had it completed in 3 weeks. And if you remember, because I remember it, it was all ready to go. And they said, we don't want it. And they actually moved the wall away. And in many cases, it's very expensive stuff. It's exactly what Border Patrol wanted. It's steel, concrete, and rebar. It had to have spikes in it. It had to have, it's a very complicated wall. It's a very expensive. They sold it for 5 cents on the dollar. They got rid of it, I think, like scrap metal. And it's not even believable. All they had to do is fill up the gaps. We're going to fill up the gaps, and we're going to end up actually building more. We're going to work with Mexico, but Mexico is not working with us right now. They want to be paid a lot of money. They said, we want $5 billion to start talking to the United States. They would never say that to me. They want $5. The people are pouring through Mexico, and they want $5 to talk. And every time Blinken goes over there or somebody goes over there, it costs us a lot of money. The money that we spend dealing with countries, we give them billions and billions of dollars, and then they don't listen to us. They don't do what we say. And I remember when China respected us 3 years ago a lot. They really respected us. And the first meeting they had where they were lectured to by President Xi and China, we were lectured like we were children. And that would never happen with me, and it never did.